Εξομολογήστε το Κύριο διαγραφός, αλληλούια, ότι στον αιώνα το έλεος αυτού, αλληλούια.
I'm all right, thank you. Oh, good. I hope they're helping you, bro. Are you a Christian?
Yeah, as of about 6 months ago.
As of about 6 months ago, and before that? Atheist.
I was growing up atheist.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, bro, if I can, firstly, I'm very glad, to hear about the fact that you've become a Christian. Here's a card if you want to get in touch. I want to give you some advice about this place. Okay? My advice to you in this place is because you've only been a Christian for 6 months, don't try and get involved in debates here. Don't let people suck you into debates
I'm mainly here to watch.
Right, fair enough. But the thing is, other people, what they will do is that they will try to draw you into debates that you don't need to be doing. Because with 6 months in the faith, you're not going to know enough, right? And the thing is, if you're coming down here because you're looking for friends, that's a dangerous place for you to be in this park. If you're coming down here because you're looking for friends, there's not enough Christians, and we're all too busy to try and give you that friendship. There's a lot more Muslims. They'll be able to give you that friendship. But the point is, that then puts your soul at risk, because you're then in relationships with Muslims, you're empathizing with them, you're opening yourself up to the kind of lies and propaganda that they give. The thing that I'm trying to communicate by all of this, bro, is that Speaker's Corner is a dangerous place for young Christian men like you, who aren't deeply rooted in the faith.
I do agree.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, I did look into Islam before I looked into Christianity.
Okay.
And when I looked into it, at face value, it seems very, very good. If you look at oneness of God, all these things seem very convenient.
Yeah.
And then when you actually look into it morally, and you look at its historical backing, there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's a vacuum. But more than that, the biggest boast that the Muslims make in the park, right, is that, thank you very much, brother. The biggest boast that Muslims make in the park is that they believe in one God.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think Satan believes in one God? Right? Do you know the story of Cain and Abel? Right? Do you think Cain believed in one God? So the point is, if Satan believes in one God, and Cain believes in one God, but both of these are rejected by God, then belief in one God's not that important.
I mean, Satan tells half-truths as well.
Of course he does.
He'll say one thing that's true to deceive, and then...
Yeah, he deceives us in matters of greater consequence by offering us little truthful trifles. But the point is that, the point that I'm making to you is that Satan and Cain believed in one God, but it had no benefit for them to believe that. God doesn't require just that you believe that there's only one God. God requires that we love him with all of our heart, mind, soul and strength. And that's what Abel did. He loved the Lord his God with all of his heart, mind, soul and strength. It's what the angels of heaven do. They love the Lord their God with all their heart, mind, soul and strength. Right? But Satan and Cain, they didn't do these things. So the biggest boast that Muslims make about Islam and the belief in one God actually profits them nothing. It's nothing to boast about. They're essentially at the same level as the devil. Like what kind of boast is this?
I mean, I can't look into their religion without thinking it's from the devil. I mean, even if we look into the Bible, we look at Galatians 1:8, 2 Corinthians 11:18, they're clearly warning against revelation from an angel, which is different to the gospel, and it's clearly one of those things is Islam.
And then this is one of the things that we can be assured of, is that if someone is preaching another gospel and that which was preached by the apostles, is that they are going against that which is true. They're going against that which is revealed of God, right? Yeah, and if you look at if you look at Satan in the Bible, what was some of the temptations that he offered to Christ? He said, if you bow down and worship me, I'll give you all of these kingdoms, right? Allah promised Muhammad the kingdoms of the world, right? I think that is actually a red flag right there. It's a red flag that is showing us that the God of Islam is not the God of the Bible, but the devil of the Bible is the God of Islam. You know, and so it also, if you look at the teachings of the two religions, they're diametrically opposed to one another. Yeah. Now I say all of this, bro, because I want you to understand you're a young Christian, right? And congratulations for coming to the faith. Thanks be to God. But as a young Christian, you might come here thinking that this is just an entertaining place, right? It's a bit exciting. But there are people who are becoming Christians because of the work that is being done by Christians here. And then there are people that are losing their faith because of the work of the Muslims here, right? And unless you're deeply rooted in the Christian faith, in its history, in its doctrine, in its values, right? If you're coming here for any other reason than to evangelize and to learn to evangelize, you're coming here with a risk. It's like sticking a target on your chest. Yeah? Right? And so my advice to you is, I can't stop you from coming. I'm not going to try and stop you from coming. But my advice to you is, never ever stake anything of your personal faith in any kind of conversation you have. Stick your faith on a shelf, and if you get in a debate, you get in a debate. If you lose the debate, it doesn't affect your faith. A trick that is often made upon young Christians, impressionable Christians, is this idea that if they can't answer the question, somehow Christianity is false, right? And sadly, a lot of very naive Christians are falling for that, right? If you don't know the answer, it doesn't mean there isn't an answer. It just means you need to go away and learn what that answer is.
Well, evidently, I'm not knowledgeable enough to answer every question.
Yeah.
I do understand that if someone, and I've not here, I've debated online before, kind of, a little bit. And there's some questions where I haven't been able to answer. But
yeah. So are there any questions you want to ask? Is there anything you want to talk about?
Things that I wasn't able to answer was, someone was talking to me about, I think it was because I was talking about the historical evidence of Jesus.
Yeah.
If we're looking at the canonical Gospels or Josephus.
Yeah.
And then they started talking about the Ebionites
And what were they saying about the Ebionites?
that they believed Jesus was a prophet.
Yeah? Was this a Muslim talking about the
Yeah.
Ebionites? Right, so let me just show you. What's your name, bro? Really nice to meet you. Okay, here's another thing. Hopefully you'll remember to bleep out his name. Don't give away any personal information in the park.
Okay.
That's lesson number one, right? If that's your real name, don't do that again, right?
Okay.
Bleep out his real name, okay? Because information can be used against you in this place, right? It's not just fun. There are some very nasty people that come to this park. When a Muslim says to you, but there was this early group of Muslims called the Ebionites who believed what Muslims believe, right? They're literally lying to you, right? Do you know why they're lying to you?
No, I don't.
Right. So a Muslim in the first century would have to believe that Isa was born of a Virgin Mary. They would have to deny the crucifixion. They would have to deny the resurrection. They would have to deny the deity of Christ. Right. Now let's look at Ebionites. Okay? It's true that Ebionites believed that Jesus was just a man. That's true. But they don't believe in the virgin birth. But Muslims do believe in the virgin birth. They do believe in the crucifixion. But Muslims don't believe in the crucifixion. Ebionites do believe in the resurrection. But Muslims don't believe in the resurrection. And Ebionites believe that Jesus Christ, who was a man, was elevated to the status of godliness. He was elevated to the state of God-likeness. No Muslim believes that any human being is elevated to the status of God-likeness.
I think they said another sect as well, like
Nazarites.
Yeah.
Right. Here's the problem with that argument, right? Nazarites, actually, if I understand the Nazarites correctly, they were Docetists. Docetists believe that Christ was fully God, but he wasn't a man. So that's exactly the opposite of what Muslims believe.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when Muslims are doing their dawaganda, their propaganda, what they're relying on is ignorance. They're relying on the fact that you're not going to bother to check the facts. They're relying on the fact that you're not going to go and look into what they're saying. That you're just going to believe them, right? And I've just given you examples of how they have sought to mislead you, right? So the next time someone says, oh, the Ebionites were Muslims, you'll be able to point out why they weren't, right? The Nazarites believed that Christ was God but not man. They were a Gnostic sect, right? Both Ebionites and Nazarites believe that God was their father. No Muslim believes that God was their father. You can kind of go, you can see where I'm going with this, right? Okay. Any other questions or things you want to talk about?
I think that's it for today.
Okay. All right.
Right now.
If in this park you ever get stumped by someone with a clever argument, come and speak to a knowledgeable Christian, right? But my advice to you is root yourself deeply in the faith, right? Like practice Christian disciplines.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm talking about when I say disciplines?
Are you talking about the Eucharist?
That could be one. But disciplines are habits of the Christian life, such as praying regularly, fasting regularly, giving alms regularly, being a part of a Christian community, examining yourself to see how much of the faith you're living by, studying the faith so that you can grow in the faith, doing evangelism, which in your case is just sharing your testimony with people, right? Just saying, why did you become a Christian? Keeping your word to people, practicing hospitality. These are Christian disciplines that when we put them into practice, they help to form us into a disciple of Christ. Yeah? Okay? You've got my card. If you ever want to get in touch, feel free.
I will if I have any questions.
All right, you're more than welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Peace be with you. God bless.